Go. All right. Go.
The pre-production phase was a bit shaky, but still fun to do. I knew what I wanted to do right away, but it was a matter of finding the talent. I had a young married couple that I wanted to use originally, and we were supposed to record. We were all set up, but they both got really sick just days before we were scheduled to start shooting, so I had to work around my friend's schedule as well as mine. I already had the locations written down and plotted out, so shooting on one day was actually doable. We had 2 locations that were in Houston, so we had to schedule our trips down there at specific times to avoid traffic because we didn't want to be sitting for an hour. That's a lot of wasted time. A few days before this, I bought a mobile gimbal for my phone that is incredible too. It really helps smooth out lots of shots because I have real shaky hands when it comes to holding cameras. For our first shot, we have Cameron sitting on the couch looking at a photo album longingly. The lighting in this scene was tricky due to the different light temperatures coming from the window versus the inside lights, but I realized the orangey warmth was something to embrace. The warmth of the skin and walls in sharp contrast to the natural outdoor light symbolizes the happy beginning of the story, reminiscing over the man she loves. If I had more time to record and edit, then I would have gotten gels to match the light temperature, but unfortunately we were hard pressed for time due to people that got sick. I purposely showed her wedding ring when she looked over the photos to show that she was indeed married to the man in the photos as well. In our next scene, which is a flashback, we see the over-the-shoulder shots using natural light from the sunset to give them a surreal golden glow. The weather was really sketchy. It was really sketchy on the way there, and we weren't sure if the sun was even going to show at all since a rainstorm literally just blew through. But the sun did show itself, which was really good, and it ended up working out wonderfully. When we're looking over Sam's shoulder at Cameron, the empty space on the left is meant to draw attention to the airplane near the top of the screen, showing that they are in a populated airway. And I think that the natural lighting was really good for the kiss scene, and I zoomed in to show the importance of a last goodbye before deployment, using a close-up to really draw you into the moment. And for the FaceTime segment, we borrowed a friend's baby to hold for a few minutes, which I wanted to use to raise the stakes. It's like if there's a little baby involved, it's automatically more intense and dramatic. In the next part, I used a close-up shot on Sam's face that was just far enough away to see the wooden targets and other equipment, selling the illusion of being in a small military campsite. We used a lamp shining about 3 feet away as a second source of light since we were underneath the tent and the natural light was less than ideal because of overcast conditions. In the tracking shot running through the woods, my gimbal was a lifesaver for moving over the uneven terrain while still being able to keep track of what was going on. I already had a ghillie suit for him to wear that my dad got for me several years ago, so that was a more convincing woodland camo. The natural golden light coming from the left really lit up the scene and made it very pretty as he ran across the ground as well. There were some shots that we had of him tumbling down the gully, but due to production time limits we had to trim quite a bit of footage, so it cut directly to him hiding behind the tree and removing his hood for dramatic effect, so the audience knew who they were looking at, instead of it being a mystery ghillie suit man. Now there was a close-up shot that was intentional when he ducked out of the way of the debris, but it was also indirectly, it was to hide my crew member who stepped out from behind the tree right after throwing the tree bark. In the next shot, we have a pajama-clad Cameron hanging up stockings for Christmas while a warm fire burns in the fireplace. This was intended to show a time jump as well as match up with the death date on the tombstone, which was Christmas Day. As she received the call and sunk to the ground, her dog was very concerned, which helped sell the emotion of the scene as well, on top of the building musical score that reached its peak at the same time. The footage of the funeral was shot by me several years ago for my great uncle, so it's personal footage as well as stock footage in a way. It added a lot of apparent production value to the video since there were several men doing the gun salute and flag ceremony. Driving into Houston during the evening rush was not fun to record the cemetery scene with Cameron, but it was the only time that we had that could work for our schedules. The weather was beautiful, albeit a little bit windy, so the lighting during the cemetery scenes was nice. We also used a reflector circle to take away the super harsh shadows. So after filming, editing was quite fun. I got to mess around with the footage and see what fits in the 90-second limit, and at the end, the production was quite a compelling short story. The only challenge I had with editing was doing panning shots and post-production, but I ended up not needing to use them, so it was fine. Overall, this was a wonderful piece to film, and I feel that it turned out great for shooting in one day.